You know that feeling when something inside you just wakes up? Like your soul suddenly remembers what it came here to do? Between January 24th and 27th, the Aries Moon is lighting a fire under 3 specific zodiac signs. And if you're one of them, you're about to experience the kind of spiritual breakthrough that changes everything. This isn't gentle, this isn't slow, this is immediate, powerful, and deeply transformative. Let's go deeper and discover exactly what's unfolding. And before we start, comment down your name and from where you're watching. Aries Moon awakens warrior spirit. The Aries Moon doesn't whisper, it shouts. When this fiery lunar energy moves through the sky between the 24th and 27th, it carries with it the kind of courage that most people only dream about. You see, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the pioneer, the one who charges ahead when everyone else is still thinking about it. And when the moon moves through this territory, it awakens something primal inside us, something that's been waiting for permission to finally act. This isn't about being aggressive or reckless. It's about remembering that you were born with a warrior's heart, even if you've forgotten it for a while. The moon in Aries stirs up restlessness, but the good kind, the kind that makes you realize you've been sitting still for too long. Now, here's what makes this particular transit so powerful. It's happening right before the first quarter moon. Think of it like this. The first quarter is when the moon is half lit, half in shadow. It's a moment of decision, of choosing which path to walk. But with Aries energy fueling that decision point, there's no room for hesitation anymore. Your spiritual drive, that deep inner knowing about what you're meant to do, suddenly has rocket fuel behind it. People who've been meditating for years without much happening, people who've been reading spiritual books but never quite applying them, suddenly find themselves doing instead of just thinking. The warrior spirit isn't about fighting others. It's about fighting your own inertia, your own doubts, your own excuses. What's beautiful about this Aries moon energy is how it strips away all the complexity we create around spiritual growth. We tend to make things so complicated, don't we? We think we need the perfect meditation cushion, the right teacher, the ideal circumstances. But Aries doesn't care about any of that. It says, start now, start messy, start scared if you have to, but start. And for 3 particular signs, this message is going to hit like lightning. Their souls have been preparing for this moment, building up energy like a spring being compressed, and now it's time to release. The warrior spirit isn't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it's just the quiet strength to finally say yes to what you've been avoiding. 3 signs. Enter transformation portal. Not everyone will feel this Aries moon the same way. That's just how astrology works. But there are 3 signs right now who are standing at the edge of something extraordinary, and they probably already feel it. It's like standing at the entrance of a cave you've never noticed before, and suddenly you realize it's been there all along, just waiting for you to be ready. These 3 signs, and we'll talk about which ones in just a moment. They've been doing the inner work, whether they realized it or not. They've been questioning, seeking, sometimes struggling, and all of that has brought them to this threshold. A transformation portal isn't something you can see with your eyes, but you can feel it in your bones, in your dreams, in those moments when you suddenly know something without knowing how you know it. The portal opens because of timing, divine timing, if you will. The Aries moon creates a crack in the usual resistance we all carry. You know that voice that says, maybe later, or I'm not ready yet. The Aries energy just bulldozes right through it. For these 3 signs, the portal looks like sudden clarity about a spiritual practice they need to start, or an old pattern they need to drop immediately, or a calling they need to answer right now, not next month or next year. It's not subtle. Transformation portals rarely are when Aries is involved. One moment you're living your regular life, and the next moment you're seeing everything differently. Like someone just turned on a light in a room you didn't even know was dark. What happens when you step through a transformation portal? Well, there's no going back to who you were before. That's the thing people don't always understand about spiritual breakthroughs. They sound wonderful, and they are. But they also mean you can't pretend anymore. You can't ignore what you now know. These 3 signs are going to find themselves making decisions between the 24th and 27th that might seem sudden to others. But they're not sudden at all. They're the result of everything that's been building. The portal doesn't stay open forever. Aries energy moves fast, burns bright, and then it's gone. So when that opening appears, when you feel that surge of knowing, that's when you move. First quarter moon amplifies power. The first quarter moon is like reaching a crossroads. You can see both where you've been and where you could go. When this phase happens right after the Aries Moon transit, something interesting occurs. The energy doesn't just fade away like it usually does. Instead, it gets channeled, focused, turned into something you can actually use. Think of it like this. The Aries Moon is the spark, and the first quarter is the bellows that turns that spark into a roaring flame. This particular combination between January 24th and 27th creates a window of time where spiritual insights don't just float through your mind. They land, they stick, they demand action. The power isn't in thinking about what could be different. It's in actually making it different. Now, the first quarter moon always brings a certain tension. It's not comfortable, not meant to be. You're being asked to choose, to commit to something even though you can't see the whole picture yet. But with the Aries influence still pulsing through your system, that discomfort becomes fuel instead of a barrier. For the 3 signs we're focusing on, this amplified power shows up in unexpected ways. Maybe it's waking up one morning with absolute certainty about a decision you've been wrestling with for months. Or maybe it's finding the courage to finally have that difficult conversation, or start that spiritual practice you've been postponing, or let go of that relationship that's been draining your energy. The power doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It just quietly shows up as readiness. Here's what makes this amplification so effective. The first quarter moon forces you to look at what's actually working and what's just comfortable habit. And with Aries energy behind it, you don't have the luxury of lying to yourself anymore. The 3 signs experiencing the deepest transformation during these days will find themselves unable to make excuses, unable to rationalize staying stuck, unable to pretend that someday is good enough. The power being amplified isn't external. Nobody's going to come rescue you or fix things for you. The power is your own willingness to be uncomfortable in service of becoming who you're meant to be. And sometimes, that's the hardest power to claim. Now, I know you're wondering which 3 signs are standing at this transformation portal. And the answer might surprise you because it's not just about your sun sign. Ahead in this video, we're going to reveal exactly which placements are being activated. And more importantly, what you need to do during these 4 crucial days to make sure you don't miss your breakthrough moment. The energies are building as we speak. Instant clarity replaces spiritual confusion. You know those times when you've been trying to figure something out, and you think and analyze, and nothing gets clearer? That's because some kinds of knowing don't come through the thinking mind. They come through a different channel entirely, and the Aries Moon opens that channel wide. Between the 24th and 27th, people are going to experience these moments of instant clarity that feel almost shocking in their simplicity. 1 second, you're confused about your spiritual path. The next second, you just know. Not because someone told you, not because you read it in a book. You just know, the way you know how to breathe. For the 3 signs being activated most powerfully, this clarity will feel like coming home after being lost for a very long time. The confusion we carry around spiritual matters, it's often not real confusion at all. It's resistance wearing a confusion mask. We say we don't know what to do, but really we know exactly what to do. We're just scared to do it. The Aries moon doesn't have patience for that kind of pretending. It strips away the fog we've been hiding in, and suddenly everything is sharp and clear and obvious. This can be uncomfortable, because once you see clearly, you can't unsee it. But for those ready for breakthrough, that discomfort is welcomed. It's relief, actually. Relief from all the mental gymnastics of trying to avoid what you've known all along. The instant clarity shows up in the middle of ordinary moments, while you're making coffee, or walking to your car, or lying in bed just before sleep. What's fascinating about this particular type of spiritual clarity is how it cuts through years of conditioning in seconds. You might have been taught that spiritual growth is supposed to be gradual, slow, measured. And sometimes it is. But not always. Sometimes the soul just says, enough, and downloads everything you need to know in one blazing moment of recognition. The 3 signs experiencing this, they're not getting gentle suggestions. They're getting direct orders from their own higher wisdom. And those orders are surprisingly specific. Not vague feelings, but clear next steps. The confusion that's been clouding your spiritual vision, whether it's about your purpose, your path, your next move, it simply evaporates when Aries moon energy decides it's time. Divine timing meets courageous action. There's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes the teacher is your own courage finally waking up. Divine timing isn't some mysterious force deciding when you get to have your breakthrough. It's the moment when all your inner preparation meets your willingness to actually move. And that's exactly what's happening between January 24th and 27th for these 3 particular signs. They've been getting ready, often without even realizing it. And now the moment has arrived. Divine timing feels like fate when you look back at it. But in the moment, it just feels like suddenly knowing it's now or never. And with Aries energy involved, it's definitely going to feel like now. Courageous action doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move anyway. The Aries moon doesn't take away fear. It gives you something stronger than fear. It gives you urgency. Not the panicked kind of urgency, but the kind that comes from deep knowing that your soul can't wait anymore. For the 3 signs being activated, this shows up as suddenly being unable to tolerate situations they've been tolerating for years. Suddenly unable to stay quiet when they need to speak. Suddenly unable to stay still when they need to move. Suddenly unable to keep playing small when they're meant for something bigger. The divine timing isn't about everything being perfect. It's about you being ready to act without perfection. What makes this combination so powerful is that divine timing without action is just wasted opportunity. And courageous action without divine timing is just struggle. But when they meet, when your inner readiness aligns with the cosmic support of an Aries moon pushing you forward, that's when miracles happen. Not the flashy kind of miracles, the quiet kind, where you look back 6 months from now and realize everything changed because of what you did during these 4 days. The 3 signs experiencing this alignment most powerfully, they're going to find that obstacles they thought were permanent just dissolve. Doors they thought were locked just open. Not because the universe suddenly started favoring them, but because they finally stepped into the current that was waiting for them all along. Past blocks dissolve under fire. Those spiritual blocks you've been carrying, some of them have been with you so long you think they're just part of who you are. Maybe it's a fear of your own power, or a belief that you're not worthy of spiritual experiences, or a pattern of starting things and never finishing them. Whatever your particular block has been, the Aries Moon has a very direct way of dealing with it. It burns it away, not through gentle processing or years of therapy, though those have their place, but through sheer force of forward momentum. Between the 24th and 27th, especially for the 3 signs we're focusing on, these blocks are going to get hit with so much fiery energy that they simply can't hold their shape anymore. It's like ice in a furnace. It doesn't gradually melt, it just vanishes. The interesting thing about past blocks is how much energy they take to maintain. We don't realize it, but we're constantly feeding them, reinforcing them with our thoughts and fears and old stories about who we are. When the Aries Moon comes through, it's like someone just shut off the power supply to those old patterns. Suddenly, you don't have the energy to keep maintaining the block. And without your constant maintenance, it crumbles. For the 3 activated signs, this might feel destabilizing at first. Because we get used to our blocks, we build our lives around them. But what comes after that initial destabilization is freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind you read about in books, but the kind you feel in your body, in your choices, in your daily life. The fire of Aries doesn't ask permission to burn away what's not serving you. This isn't a polite energy. It's a necessary one. Some blocks need to be gently processed and understood, but some blocks just need to be obliterated so you can move forward. And the beautiful thing is, you get to choose how you work with this fire. You can fight it, clench up, try to protect your old patterns, or you can let it do its work. The 3 signs experiencing the deepest clearing. They're going to find themselves suddenly free of something they thought they'd carry forever. A fear that just doesn't trigger anymore. A limiting belief that suddenly seems ridiculous. A pattern of self-sabotage that simply stops operating. The fire doesn't leave room for negotiation. It just clears the path. Intuition sharpens into crystal certainty. Most of the time, intuition feels like a whisper, a maybe, a gentle nudge that's easy to ignore or second guess. But under the Aries Moon, especially during these particular days, intuition stops whispering and starts declaring. For the 3 signs being activated most powerfully, this shift from vague feeling to crystal certainty is going to be unmistakable. It's the difference between thinking maybe you should make a change and knowing with absolute clarity exactly what needs to happen and when. This kind of certainty isn't coming from your logical mind. Your logical mind might actually be quite alarmed by how sure you suddenly feel. But your inner knowing, your soul, it's speaking loud and clear, and there's no more room for doubt. The sharpening of intuition happens because Aries energy cuts through all the mental noise we usually operate with. You know that constant commentary in your head, weighing pros and cons, analyzing every angle, trying to predict every outcome. Aries just sweeps all that aside and reveals what you've known underneath all along. For people who've been developing their intuitive abilities, this transit is like suddenly upgrading from a flip phone to the latest smartphone. Everything just works better, faster, clearer. And for people who thought they didn't have intuition, well, they're about to discover they do. They were just listening to the wrong voice. The crystal certainty shows up about practical things. Who to trust, what job to take, what relationship to release, what practice to commit to. What makes this sharpened intuition so valuable is that it comes with courage built in. Usually when we get intuitive hits, we then have to work up the courage to act on them. But Aries Moon certainty doesn't separate knowing from doing. You know it. You do it. There's no gap. The 3 signs experiencing this most intensely are going to find themselves making decisions that seem sudden to outside observers. But they're not sudden, they're just finally clear. And that clarity is going to stick. This isn't a temporary flash of insight that fades by morning. It's a permanent upgrade in how you access your inner wisdom. The certainty might actually be a little uncomfortable if you're used to always seeing both sides of everything. But sometimes what you need isn't balance. What you need is clear direction. Sacred restlessness. Signals. Soul evolution. If you've been feeling restless lately, like you just can't settle, like something inside you is pacing back and forth, that's not a problem to fix. That's your soul getting ready to evolve. The Aries moon between the 24th and 27th takes that restlessness and turns it into fuel for transformation. You see, restlessness gets a bad reputation. We think we're supposed to be peaceful and calm all the time. But sacred restlessness is different. It's not anxiety, though it might feel similar on the surface. It's your spirit outgrowing the container of your current life. And the outgrowing creates pressure, creates movement, creates the need for change. For the 3 signs being activated most powerfully, this restlessness has probably been building for weeks or even months. Sacred restlessness makes you dissatisfied with things that used to be fine. You look at your meditation practice and think, this isn't enough anymore. Or you look at your spiritual community and realize, I've outgrown this space. Or you look at your daily routines and feel, something has to change. This isn't being ungrateful. This is evolution. Caterpillars don't stay caterpillars because it would be rude to the cocoon. They transform because that's what they're meant to do. The Aries moon honors that sacred restlessness. It says, yes, you're right. Something does need to change. And the time is now. Not when you're more prepared. Not when circumstances are better. Now, in the middle of your messy, imperfect, beautiful life. What the 3 activated signs will discover is that their restlessness has been trying to tell them something specific all along. It wasn't random discomfort. It was directional. Like a compass needle pulling toward magnetic north, their sacred restlessness has been pulling them toward their next level of spiritual growth. And during these 4 days, they're going to understand what that restlessness was asking for. And they're going to have the courage to give it. The evolution that comes from honoring sacred restlessness isn't comfortable. Evolution rarely is. But it's necessary. It's your soul's way of refusing to stagnate, of insisting on growth even when growth is inconvenient. The restlessness is a gift. Treat it that way. Breakthrough rituals for maximum impact. When you're standing in powerful energy like this Aries moon, you want to work with it consciously, not just let it happen to you. Simple rituals during these 4 days can anchor the breakthroughs that are trying to occur. And I'm not talking about complicated ceremonies that require special tools or perfect conditions. I'm talking about intentional actions that signal to your soul that you're paying attention. For the 3 signs being activated most powerfully, the right ritual at the right time can be the difference between a subtle shift and a life-changing transformation. The key is matching the ritual to the energy. And Aries energy wants movement, wants action, wants something physical and direct. One powerful ritual is the burning ceremony, writing down on paper whatever you're releasing, whatever blocks or fears or old identities you're done with, and then safely burning that paper, watching it turn to ash. With Aries fire backing you up, this isn't just symbolic. It's actual energetic clearing. Another ritual is taking a decisive physical action you've been avoiding. Making that phone call, sending that message, signing up for that class, booking that appointment. The ritual doesn't have to look spiritual. It just has to represent your commitment to moving forward. For some of the activated signs, the most powerful ritual will be stillness. Sitting with the fire energy and letting it reveal what needs to be revealed before you act. What makes a ritual powerful during this time is your intention and your follow-through. You can light 100 candles and say 1,000 affirmations, but if you don't actually change your behavior afterward, the energy dissipates. The 3 signs experiencing breakthrough moments need to pair their rituals with real-world action. That's what seals the transformation. Maybe it's starting a daily meditation practice you commit to for 30 days. Or maybe it's ending a habit that's been draining your spiritual energy. Or maybe it's reaching out to a teacher or guide you've been too shy to contact. The ritual creates the opening. Your continued action keeps it open. Maximum impact comes from matching your inner spiritual work with your outer life choices. Post-moon integration locks your transformation. Here's what a lot of people don't understand about powerful spiritual moments. The moment itself is just the beginning. The real work is integrating what happened, taking that flash of insight or burst of courage and weaving it into your daily life so it becomes permanent change, not just a nice memory. After the Aries Moon passes, after the 27th comes and goes, there's a crucial window for integration. The 3 signs who experience the deepest breakthroughs during these days need to protect their transformation by making it practical, making it sustainable, making it real. Integration isn't glamorous. It's choosing the new behavior even when you don't feel like it. It's remembering what you learned when old patterns try to creep back in. The way you lock in transformation is through consistency in the days and weeks that follow. If you had a breakthrough about starting a meditation practice, then you actually start it and keep showing up, even on the days when it feels boring or pointless. If you had a breakthrough about releasing a toxic relationship, then you maintain your boundaries even when it's uncomfortable or lonely. The Aries Moon gave you the initial push, but you have to keep pushing yourself. For the activated signs, this integration period is actually more important than the breakthrough itself, because breakthroughs that aren't integrated just become stories you tell about. That one time you almost changed, and nobody wants that. Everyone wants the lasting transformation. What helps with integration is having accountability and support. Maybe that's a journal where you track your new commitments, or a friend who checks in on you, or a community that reinforces your new direction. The fire of Aries burns hot and fast, but sustainable transformation is more like steady embers that keep burning long after the initial flame. The 3 signs being transformed during these days need to plan now for how they'll maintain what they're receiving. Because the universe gives us these powerful moments, these acceleration points, but then it watches to see what we do with them. Today, you're receiving the breakthrough. Tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, you're proving you meant it. That's the power waiting for you between January 24th and 27th. Are you ready to claim it?